Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming on today for our Zoom meditation and breathing hosted by Ross Duren, who is the OSU-OKC Health and Wellness counselor. So without further ado, Ross.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So thank you all for joining me today, for giving me the opportunity to take a few minutes of your time and discuss meditation exercises and guided breathing. As Hung said, my name is Ross Duren. I am the Health and Wellness Counselor here for the OSU-OKC campus. I look forward to hopefully providing you with a little bit of good quality information about what meditation is and what it isn't, and maybe just looking at some of the ways that you can incorporate that into the day-to-day things that you do. So just a little brief piece about me. As Hung said, I am the Health and Wellness Counselor here for OSU-OKC. I am a practicing social worker. I received my MSW in 2020. I'm currently a licensed master social worker through the state of Oklahoma. And I'll be finishing my clinical hours for my licensed clinical social worker in just a couple of weeks. So I'm very excited about that and looking forward to bringing some additional knowledge to our campus and our community. I worked in the social work field for several years in a variety of different areas. These are some of them listed here. My main job at OSU-OKC is to support emotional and mental health needs of our faculty, staff, and students. And a big portion of that is by using meditation. So today we will be looking at mindfulness meditation as a technique. There are multiple hundreds of different meditation techniques, but mindfulness meditation is something that we can utilize very easily and something that I use very frequently in working with those that I work with here on campus. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to look at what meditation is and why is meditation beneficial. We'll even look at some about what meditation is not. I think that a lot of times we have a lot of misconceptions about meditation, specifically due to media or due to movies or all different kinds of things about what we think meditation may be. And so we're going to work at identifying some of those, what it is and what it isn't, and why it's good for us. We'll also look at how to get started with meditation. How do we even go about starting to do that? And then different techniques that we can use for meditation and guided breathing. So this is just a quick agenda about what we'll look at today. So what is meditation? I think that's $1 million question. You can look up all different sorts of definitions for what meditation actually is. But I really like this definition. So meditation is a practice that involves focusing or clearing your mind using a combination of mental and physical techniques. So I think there's a couple of things that really stick out in this definition. Focusing or clearing your mind. So the ability to really push away the things that are bothering us in our mind, and both mental and physical techniques. So meditation doesn't just include our mind, it also includes our body and the way that we're able to control our body. So just a really, really quick, simple definition of what meditation is that it really focuses on clearing our mind and using both our body and our mind to be able to do that. Meditation is a practice that's been around for thousands of years, and many different cultures utilize it. We tend to have a lot of preconceived notions about what cultures maybe meditate more than others, but it's something that has been ingrained in a variety of cultures for centuries. We do know that meditation is a practice that can be conducted anywhere. We know that it doesn't have to be in one specific location, in one specific room, in one spot. So it's something that we can be very flexible with and utilize wherever we really want to go. We also know that meditation is very low barrier. We don't need expensive equipment to meditate. We don't need a gym. We don't need memberships to certain places. It's very easy to enter meditation and be able to do it really anywhere. So what's great about that is that it's not a major investment to be able to see if meditation works for you. It's something that you can try and not have a lot of either financial or social ramifications for that. So that's a very quick definition and kind of some important characteristics of what meditation is. That being said, I think it's also important that we analyze what meditation is not, right? We have a lot, I've said it a couple times before, but we've had a lot of preconceived notions or stereotypes about meditation. Who can meditate? When can they meditate? Some people think that it's actually a lifestyle, that you have to devote your whole self to meditation to be able to meditate. And that's not the case. So there's a lot of things that we can kind of debunk about that. And I think it's important that we do that before we start looking at how we meditate. So what is not meditation? We know for sure that meditation does not have to be a major time investment. We do not have to devote hours of our day or hours of our week to meditating. It can be 30 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, it can be 5 minutes. Really the boundaries for that are pretty limitless. We also know that meditation is not only for those who identify as very spiritual or religious. While that can play a specific important role in those areas, it's not limited to that by any means. One thing that I get with a lot of my students that I work with is that they're worried that it's going to be really boring. And we know that that's also not the case too. Once we get into meditation and start trying it, it's not as boring as people think. We also know that meditation is not limited to times of turbulence. So we don't only have to meditate when we're going through rough patches or hard things that are really difficult. This is something that we can use all the time. And lastly, we also know that it's not an all-in-one problem solver. So if I have things maybe that aren't going the way I want, it doesn't mean that if I start meditating, all of those things are going to disappear. It's just a great proactive supporting action that we can do. Let's see. So what are the benefits of meditation? And we talk about what it is, and we will talk about how to meditate here in just a second. But what are some of the good things that can come from that? For sure, better increased understanding of ourselves it is really one of the number one things that we see from a successful meditation. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if I understand myself better, I understand what my needs are, I understand what specific things may be bothering me, and then I can address those fully, right? So if we don't know what an issue is or what is something specific that may be bothering us or something specific that we enjoy, it's hard to be able to classify those things within us. So understanding ourselves is really important. It's known to lower stress and anxiety, which is something that everyone really wants to do. It allows us to connect better with the world around us as a whole. We can feel more in touch with where we're at in the moment versus being worried about a lot of major things that may be coming. It helps us improve our focus. It trains us to be able to focus really well and reduce our brain chatter. So the amount of things that are going on in our brain at once, it helps us to slow that down to be able to feel more clear with the activities and things that we have to do. So we've kind of looked at a quick definition of meditation and what it's not, as well as what are some of the benefits of meditation. So now we're going to kind of get to the $1 million question is, how do you do it? How do you meditate? So there's a few things to remember. First of all, it's really important to remember that everyone is different and everyone is going to find things that work better for them meditation wise. So if you have somebody that you know who meditates or who has tried meditation and they find specific things that work, they may share those with you. But don't be discouraged if they don't work for you as well, right? Everybody is different and everybody benefits from different things. So there are more meditation practices and techniques than we have time to do 10 or 12 of these presentations. Everybody adheres to different practices, whether that's religious meditation, spiritual, mindfulness, there's the list goes on and on. So when we finish today, I encourage you to investigate some of those on your own and maybe just use those to increase your knowledge that we talk about today of the specific things that you would like to follow up on. So before we even begin meditating, a few really important things to keep in mind. These are good things to take like in your back pocket as you start thinking about, if I really want to meditate or if I even want to try this, these are good situations that you need to be in. We want to be in a position where we can limit distractions. Private is really best. You can do meditation publicly, and a lot of people successfully do that. But where you're able to be alone or able to be in a little bit of privacy tends to be the best. Having a few minutes of time available is really good. If I finish a meeting and I have 5 minutes to get to another meeting and I'm walking across campus, that's probably not the best time for me to try to meditate. You don't really want to feel rushed when you're meditating. You want to have adequate time available to be able to meet the goal that you want to meet. And lastly, put yourself in a position to succeed. If you don't put yourself in a good position, such as you try to meditate around other people, or you're rushed, or you try techniques that you don't feel like are going to have any chance of succeeding, or you go in with an attitude that you're not going to enjoy this, then you're not going to be successful with it. And if you're not successful, you're going to become frustrated. And when you're frustrated, you're just not going to do it. So you want to put yourself in a position to be able to be successful in your meditation. So these are 3 really important things that I think we need to start with when we start considering the fact that maybe we want to meditate. Now, the second thing that we really need to look at is our breathing. And a portion of our talk today is based on breathing exercises and guided breathing. And so I thought this was a great place to put this in. A lot of people who teach meditation or who really practice meditation will have a lot of different approaches to getting started with meditating, but the majority of them will all come back to the fact that our breath and breathing is the most important aspect of meditation. Controlling our breath and the way that we breathe allows our body physically and mentally to adjust to that. For example, if we are in a position where we're panicked or we're nervous or we're scared, or even if we're excited, our breath increases, right? So we'll be breathing a lot quicker, shorter breaths. And that is kind of the catalyst to tell our body that, either we need to be doing something really fast and effective, or we need to be on our A game, right? So when we're relaxed and we're focused, our breath is really really intentional, and really slow isn't the right word, but it's really intentional is the best word. I think it's intentional in the amount of time that we have. So guided breathing is our best place to start. If you take if you step away from this presentation when you're done and think, I'm not sure that meditating is right for me, or if I'm not sure I want to do it, breathing and guided breathing is a tool that you can take and use even if you don't feel like you want to meditate. It's just a really good action for us to be able to calm down. So what is it? Just like I said, the key to mindfulness meditation is breath control. And it helps us to remain calm, reduce our anxiety, and feel at ease. And it also allows us to create a good foundation to enter mindfulness meditation if we want to do that. So what's great about breathing and controlling our breath and guided breathing is that you can use methods to be able to control that. A lot of people have different methods. I prefer to count. So you can pick a second interval that you feel like is good for you. Typically, slower is easier. So the lower the number is easier as you're getting used to meditation. So if I picked 3, 5, 7, any one of those numbers, it could look something like I breathe out for 3 seconds and I count as I do that. 1, 2, 3. I hold it and then I breathe in for 3 seconds. So we're actually physically in our mind telling ourselves, I'm breathing out for 3 seconds. I'm breathing in for 3 seconds. And you can do that with 3, 5, 7, whatever that number is. The higher you go, the harder it is to maintain that control because you're going to want to breathe. Another method is called the square method. And the square method, you can picture a square in your head, or you can picture the computer monitor that you have, anything that has 4 corners and square, you can picture. So if you pick a number, let's say you pick 3, then you can utilize the square method by counting for each breath action that you have in the shape of a square. So for example, if I chose 3, it would be I breathe in for 3 seconds, I hold my breath for 3 seconds, I breathe out for 3 seconds, and then I hold that for 3 seconds. And you can physically work yourself around a square and do that in your mind. And it'll help you to make sure that you're regulating the breath that you use. So if you are considering thinking about, hey, we're going to talk about what are some meditation techniques, and I think I might want to get into meditation, I recommend practicing breathing control first before you even try to meditate. So let's say you have a big presentation, you have a big life decision, something that's going to be challenging or is going to provide you with anxiety. Taking a few breaths is a great way to make sure that you're managing that, and is also a great way to springboard into mindfulness meditation. So how do we actually take that and meditate? So if we were in person, I would have everyone raise their hand and say, well, what do you feel like are the things physically that you have to do to meditate? And the majority of times, I feel like the first answer is like sitting down on the ground and crossing your legs, maybe putting your palms up like in the air, maybe like humming. Like there's all these things that we think we have to do, but that's not actually the case. So there are some general techniques though that I feel like are good to follow when we're thinking about mindfulness meditation. So I mentioned there's a lot of different techniques. We really encourage you to experiment. Try different ones, try several at the same time. And, there's no right or wrong way to meditate. I think that's really important. And if something doesn't work, that you just don't have to do it the next time, and that's okay. So typically, what a majority of people do during mindfulness meditation is to sit themselves in a comfortable location, like maybe my chair, a couch, somewhere that I can make my body actually comfortable. If I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to be able to meditate. So if I'm on a really hard bench, maybe out in the cold, it's going to be a lot harder for me to be able to successfully meditate than if I'm in a private office in a warm chair with like a blanket or something like that. So just make yourself comfortable. Typically what I prefer to do is I like to sit upright, not straight up and down, but sit as straight as I can, with my feet flat on the floor and my hands in my lap. So I kind of put them on my legs. so that I make sure that I'm really comfortable in a good position to where I'm not overly relaxed, but I'm comfortable to be able to effectively meditate. Setting a time limit is really good. We don't want to have this clock right in front of us that's saying you have 2 minutes left or you have 30 seconds left, because then we're not focusing on the actual meditation. But we can set an alarm on our phone, just so that we don't get carried away with things, or we kind of know how long we need to go with our meditation. Shorter is always better as we're learning meditation. So anything but between 3 to 5 minutes is a good meditation for your first few times. Listening to your body is really incredibly important. If you don't feel physically like you're going to be successful meditating, don't do it. Or if you're not comfortable with where you're sitting, adjust that. And you can even ask yourself questions like, am I comfortable right now? Am I in a good position? Am I somewhere that I feel confident? Just listen to what your body is telling yourself. Closing your eyes is sometimes really successful. So as I said, I will sit upright, and I will put my hands on my lap and actually close my eyes as I'm breathing. You don't have to do that, but to me, it limits distractions. And so it's a technique that I like. Feeling your breath and physically focusing on your breath is really important. Very often your mind is going to wander. You're going to be thinking about the things that you have to do later on in the day or next week. Just slowly bring yourself back to focusing on your breath and focusing on what you're doing in that moment. You can ground yourself by using your 5 senses. So what kinds of things do I feel? What kinds of things do I see? What kinds of things do I hear, smell, taste? Those kinds of things in that moment, because it makes you be in the moment right here rather than worried about what's going on in a few hours. And lastly, when you're done, you want to end with positivity. So you always want to end your time by being graceful to yourself and saying, maybe you did a great job today. You are going to rock out what you have to do today. You're going to do the best that you can, and just be really friendly to yourself. The good feelings that we have when someone tells us something really positive, like, hey, you look really good today, or you did a great job on that project. That feels really good. So telling yourself that also makes you feel good too, because it's just like somebody else telling you. So these are some really quick techniques that you can use to get into mindfulness meditation. And I think when we go over these, a lot of times we think, wow, it may be a lot easier than I thought it was. And it's not this big daunting task. So these are some things that you can think about. Lastly, I just kind of want to provide a few different options that you can use for meditation. There's no, like I said, meditation is so diverse now. There's no kind of like one way that you have to do things. So some other options that we have are meditation and mindfulness apps. Here at OSU, we have Tao. It's a free service to students, faculty, and staff. Calm is another one that is you can download on your phone. I prefer to use Simple Habit. Simple Habit is a great app that you can download on your phone, and they give you a certain amount of free access that you can have. And what's great about their services is you can throw in your AirPods or earbuds, and there will be someone who will actually walk you through a meditation session. So you kind of just follow what they do, and they will help you to get through that. So there's a lot of aspects for technology that you can use. And YouTube is a great one too, because they offer a lot of free things meditation-wise that you can do as well. Lastly, you can also be active while you're meditating. If you want to walk, if you want to hop on a treadmill, bike, obviously nothing that you're going to do that could hurt somebody if your mind wanders. So like driving, we don't want to do that. But like if you're in the gym on a bike or an elliptical or something, or walking around a walking track, you can focus on controlling your breath and focusing on managing your thoughts, and actually meditate while you're doing those activities, which are really good because it benefits us both physically and mentally. So those are great options as well. So what's cool about these and why I wanted to present these is that it's another option that we have to be able to try a lot of different things. So that is about all I have as far as meditation goes. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have about meditation. You're welcome to reach out to me. My contact information is here. And just remember that meditation and anything that we do, it does not have to be this big, significant activity. It can just be something that we do that is a really positive thing that we can do for ourselves. So that is all I have for today. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you coming on. And like I said, please reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Ross, for this great presentation. And as you guys see, his
Oh, sorry,
information,
I took it off.
it's fine. His information was on there. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us and call us, and we will try to help you out as much as we can. Thank you.